Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, cats and kittens, dogs and fucking puppies, wrestling fans all over the world, and of course, people that are staying quarantined because we got nothing else to do, and certain elements of the country are starting to roll back on their openings because people refuse to believe in science, and they rather believe on some stupid bullshit, but nonetheless, welcome to the Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk. I am Eric Peralta, otherwise known as the Wrestling Enthusiast, and today we're going to take a look at AEW Fight for the Fallen, and we're going to see how good that show did and all the matches were great or not. And also, we'll be taking a look at Smackdown, which looked like complete, utter shit. And I'm going to tell you, it's the worst fucking Smackdown of the year. I'm going to tell you how I thought about that. And nonetheless, let's take a look at some wrestling news. And before we take a look at even that, let's take a look at AEW Dynamite / Fight for the Fallen. And for WWE NXT, first of all, we'll start off with NXT first. NXT drew 631,000 viewers on the USA Network, which is down from the previous 759,000. They drew at 0.14 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, which is down from the previous 0.20. Not good. And AEW Dynamite, which had its Fight for the Fallen episode, it pulled a 788,000 on viewers, which is up from the previous show last week, which was the Fyter Fest Night Number 2 show, which did a 715,000 viewers. They drew a 0.29 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, which is up from the previous 0.28, excuse me. And of course, AEW wins. After 3 momentous weeks that NXT was victorious in the Wednesday night ratings war, AEW finally pulls one back. And how long are they going to keep the momentum going? Because they did win 12 weeks straight at one point this year, and then they won another 14 weeks. So I think we might have some shit going on. And looking at the comments section, and then there's some individual here that says, and I'm just quoting a guy because this guy he's just a comment. I'm not going to disclaim any names, but I think it's probably like some people that usually comment on these forums, usually a bunch of smart aleck punk motherfuckers that like to talk a lot of shit. Some guy types in and says, Mark's thinking this is some type of ratings war. The ratings for both shows are shit. It's like they're trying to choose which ugly girl to go out with. Both shows together are not even doing the numbers a poor Raw show does. By the way, that's the number 2 wrestling show and to the number 1 wrestling show, Smackdown, which are both WWE shows. For those who are so into ratings, if you're into wrestling, just watch wrestling and stop trying to make it seem like someone is losing some type of race here. So that's one response from an individual. And someone else says, Raw is a long-established show running 25 plus years, since 1993 for that matter, with a lot of resources behind it. AEW barely had much time to gather momentum before COVID hit. The empty arenas are really hurting it. And someone tries to counter with that one. Is like, seriously, the empty arenas are hurting it? And someone responds back, what do you mean, seriously? Of course empty arenas are hurting it. It greatly affects the atmosphere. And you know what? To a certain extent, I ain't going to agree nor disagree, but there is some sort of agreement to that, because I think the crowds bring in the fucking atmosphere, the reactions. It's all in the matter of how and who's over. And apparently, I just don't know what's wrong with these people, but fuck. I mean, AEW loses 3 weeks in a row, and suddenly, AEW's dead. It's going down the drain. And then AEW wins 14 weeks straight, and then they're like, WWE NXT is going down the drain. Goodbye, WWE. And then WWE NXT wins 1 week They get 1 week, and then all of a sudden, oh, AEW's going to die. AEW. Shut the fuck up. No one's going to lose in this ratings war. First of all, I'm sick and tired of it. It's fucking stupid. You don't need to be fucking talking shit about one promotion or the other. Truth is, I'm a wrestling enthusiast. I call myself that for a reason because I figure both promotions are doing a tremendous job. I mean, except for Raw or SmackDown, which is the drizzling shits. I'll get to that SmackDown shit in a moment. However, back to what I'm saying. I want both of these companies to succeed. I don't want neither of them to fail. Some of them have failed this year, unfortunately, and that's the sad part, but it's the wrestling business. I'm pretty sure eventually some promotions will pop out in time, sooner or later. It might not be right now, but down the road somewhere. But anyway, what's the fucking point of fighting on who's better and who's not? Who gives a shit? Enjoy the fucking shows. I want WWE to strive to be better, but I think I know how they're really going to get better. Turn off this stupid PG bullshit. Turn it into a TV-14 product. We keep catering to kids, and all the fucking program gets stale. And it's like at a point where it insults your intelligence. That's hurting the company. And that's hurting professional wrestling as a whole. Because look at it this way. If you saw people in the Attitude Era from 1998 all the way to probably 2002 with a lot of shit going down, and I've seen a lot of crazy shit during those days. One of them was the fact that who was it? Midian, who used to be Phineas I of the Godwins, or redneck hillbilly gimmick wrestler who was endorsed by Hillbilly Jim at one point in time. Well, what happened was when the Undertaker had the Ministry of Darkness stable put together, he joined and he did like an innuation thing where they cut him open and he was bleeding. Tell me that's not fucking crazy. But you know what? Despite all that shit, and it looked either offensive to this day and age, because people are snowflakes sometimes. I mean, it's not even that. It's just the fact that sometimes, some people are overly sensitive of shit. But if you look at it this way, who do you think was in the audience besides the 18 to 49 demographic? Who else was in that audience? It was kids. Kids saw that shit. The over-sexualization in the women's roster back in those days, all the way to the bloodiest, most brutal barbed wire thumbtack style fucking wrestling matches with chair shots to the head would guarantee you a fucking concussion back in those days. Kids were watching that shit. Wrestling is going to get over no matter what. So stop treating these fucking fans like they're a fucking 6-year-old. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of ratings. Speaking of fucking ratings. Did you hear about Raw? This week? And I think the last week's episode of Smackdown, which I will talk about, I think what happened is that it definitely left a bad taste in wrestling fans' mouths. Why do I say that? Well, let's be honest. Let's put it in perspective here. I'm going to take a look at the Raw ratings, and I'm going to say, oh, this week's episode. And this is from an article here. This week's episode of WWE Raw drew 1.561 million viewers, which made it the least watched episode of the show in history. The previous low was on May 4th with 1.686 million viewers. Well, ain't that a fucking shame? But I wonder why. Look I saw how bad SmackDown was. The only thing I found good was the Sasha Banks, Bayley versus Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss match. Now that tag match was good, but the rest of it was shit, except for that little table spot that New Day went through with Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Other than that, the show was awful, and it was a letdown. I think that left a bad taste in WWE's mouth. And a lot of wrestling fans felt the same way, apparently. So apparently that's why they say, why the fuck would I want to watch Raw if this shit's going to be going? They're going to continue producing overproduced, badly done B-movie type bullshit. Why the fuck would I want to watch to begin with? This is what's killing the wrestling business. It's killing the fucking wrestling business. And the PG shit. It's getting redundant. It's getting stupid. It's getting downright... There's words I want to say, but I'm not going to say it. Now, speaking of words, or letters for this matter, there was a report that I hope is not true. Supposedly there's a rumor that the NWA will shut down and shut down operations. However, NWA President Billy Corgan, who is the former head singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, who now owns the National Wrestling Alliance, he is denying reports about the future of his promotion, because Raven came out saying that the NWA is shutting down. However, he went on to Twitter and issued the following statement, and I quote verbatim. A quick note about the National Wrestling Alliance, which I fought for and won ownership of a few years back. We are not shutting down, so please disregard any and all rumor to effect. The NWA is not and will not be for sale, and those talent who are under contract remain under contract for a reason, which is that we at the NWA are trying to figure out a way to provide our great fans with wrestling content in a very, very tough environment. Most importantly, keep our talent safe and the standard of production you've come to expect from us at a high level. Anything less, in my opinion, is unacceptable. So yes, appreciate the interest, appreciate the chatter, but don't appreciate the unsourced rumors and speculations. So, according to Fightful Select, the NWA said no firm plans moving forward at the moment. The news comes not long after Raven stated in an interview with Hannibal TV earlier this week that owner Billy Corgan is planning to shut down the promotion. NWA is currently on hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Additionally, former company vice president Dave Lagana exited the promotion after allegations of sexual misconduct surfaced against him during the Speaking Out movement. Fightful reports that NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis was considered as a replacement for Lagana's post, but he didn't have Lagana's particular skill set. NWA roster members are reportedly very fond of Billy Corgan, who treats them with respect, but he's not been very active lately with the promotion. Additionally, wrestlers under contract with the promotion found out about Lagana's exit when the general public did as well before that happened. NWA was holding weekly Zoom meetings with about 12 people to go over the direction of Carneyland, a show which is on YouTube, which is now said to be canceled for right now. As previously noted, after the company shakeup with Dave Lagana, wrestlers were told that if they didn't believe in the vision for the company going forward, they were given the option to leave. So basically, we have no idea what's going to be happening with the NWA, but it's going to be anything but finished off and shut down. So hopefully they keep going, and whatever they're going to do next, they're going to have to come out, and they're going to definitely have to figure out what they're going to do. But in the meantime, hopefully some high hopes, and hopefully they get better, and it just takes them into a better position going forward. Programming note, there's been 2 segments that have been announced on Friday's Smackdown. First off is, you can tell by the sound of my voice, I really don't give a fuck, because after watching last week's Smackdown, do you think I give a shit? Anyway, so the announcement was, first off, Bray Wyatt headed to the Firefly Funhouse ahead of his Swamp Fight match against Braun Strowman at WWE Extreme Rules. Also, Alexa Bliss has invited a mystery guest onto a Moment of Bliss. WWE issued the following about the segment. Alexa Bliss will roll out the red carpet for... okay, let me read this one more time, because For some reason, they like to do it overproduced way. And it goes something like this. Alexa Bliss will roll out the red carpet for a marquee guest on A Moment of Bliss this Friday night. The identity of the guest remains a mystery, but promises to have the blue brand abuzz. Who will Bliss reveal as the mystery guest for the much anticipated episode of A Moment of Bliss? Tune in this Friday night Smackdown on Fox at 7 Central, only on Fox. Jesus. These overproduced jackasses do know how to entice the crowd, do we? So this is why nobody wants to watch this shit. God damn. You know, just saying. Quality over quantity. Never forget that. Fucking morons. And, you know, basically this overproduction shit that WWE is doing with Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, it's all Vince's idea. And it's Kevin Dunn's idea. Because he can't produce shit. The only thing he can produce is a fucking dentist. Go judging by the way his fucking teeth are being set up, looks like a hillbilly. Fucking jackass. Give him a fucking acorn to suck on it. Okay, that's the news segment. Let's talk about AEW Fight for the Fallen, shall we? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the show. I thought it was really good. I thought the best match, in my opinion, I thought it was going to be FTR against Lucha Brothers, but to my surprise, it was the second best match of the night. The best match of the night was actually Jurassic Express and the Elite. To my surprise, because I thought to myself, man, I didn't think they would pull off a fucking match this physical. But I'll explain this momentarily along the way as we go. We start off the show with Cody against Sonny Kiss, and the matchup would be for the TNT title. This match was Sonny Kiss's best match to date. I'm going to go on a limb here and say this is probably his best match to date. Best match probably in AEW. Maybe in his AEW Dynamite career so far. So, Cody, it was about very good. It wasn't his best match, but it was very good. Cody could put out some good matches as far as like physicality is concerned, and his ability to move in and out of the ring. He could. I don't think he's really afraid of doing any aerial moves. He's not that often into that, but his body language, the way he sells punches, kicks, submissions, the way he sells that shit, he could do it. But anyway, as far as this matchup goes, I'm gonna tell you the rating early. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10, and I'm gonna tell you why. It was kind of rough around the edges a little bit early because it started off a little slow, and there was like some sort of movement where they were able to catch a rhythm as the match progressed, and to my surprise, there was some sort of high impact maneuvers that Sonny was able to kick out of. You know, like some flying knees and some back suplexes and some side slams by Cody. I was actually surprised. And Abby Edwards was officiating here. She was doing a good job as officiating for the TNT title match here. So I loved what she did. During the match, Cody hit an Alabama slam onto Sonny Kiss on the platform outside the ring, and that looked like it hurt. I mean, it was just when he slammed Sonny Kiss in, you could hear a loud fucking thud. It was like, I'm like, fuck, that must have hurt. But his bottom 2 feet were under the ropes because he attempted to pin him. So that was a bit of botchery right there at the end. Usually, sometimes the referees don't give a shit about that and they just let it go. I knew, when I remember watching wrestling back in the days, I'm talking about early 2000s-ish and before. Usually they let that shit go, but I started noticing that the referee is having a bit more some ring awareness in 2008, 2009. I noticed the referees are being more aware. But in my opinion, that's kind of gonna get shit points because it's gonna fucking. To me, it's just gonna, fuck up the momentum when it comes to a wrestling match. So as far as I'm concerned, I hate when that shit happens. Especially when someone puts in the finisher. Oh, crossroads, it connected. He hovered for the cover. 1, 2. Oh wait, the referee stops the count. Oh, his foot was under the rope. Now he has to pull him back in an inch or 2. There we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, that's just fucking dumb, and I consider that a botch because, and it's not even a mistakeful notice. It's not even that bad. I mean, let me just put it this way: if a botch like that just fucks up the momentum of the match and completely derails it, in my opinion, and I just don't like that. It gets negative points from my perspective. Because this would have been an 8-point match, an 8 out of 10, but I have to deduct it to a 7 out of 10 because of that mistake. So that's a pretty big mistake. And I'm not even criticizing anybody here. I'm not criticizing Sonny, I'm not criticizing Cody, and I'm not criticizing Aubrey Edwards, the referee. She did a fantastic job, and I could understand the ring awareness in it. But I just feel like that shit just slows the momentum down, and that's not cool. I don't like it. But anyway, overall though, after that, when he pinned Sonny Kiss, Cody did, and retained his title, it was a good match. It was a pretty good match. It showcased that Sonny Kiss can move in. He can do the splits. He knows how to do a 450 splash, beautifully done. I also couldn't help but notice Cody was bordering and acting like a heel, so... what's up with that shit? And did you hear about Arn Anderson actually not liking the matchup? What does that tell you? He probably figured, maybe... Well, because I heard somewhere that he got interviewed about Cody Rhodes' match, and he said, no, I don't like the match. I didn't like the match. I think the match was terrible. But I know why he said that, because... there might have been a mistake or two that he probably noticed, because Arn Anderson's a very good observer when it comes to training regimens and to professional wrestling matches. The guy's got the experience. He was a former 4 Horseman, so he should know, right? Anyway, I'm pretty sure he taught a few seminars too. But what the hell? I mean, what the fuck? Some way you figure out what's good and what's not good. And I think he figured a lot of that shit was not good. Although I thought it was. But it's just that botch right there at the end where it fucking, 1, stop the count, get his legs from under the ropes. Then he brings him in, and then 1, 2, kick out, and 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's just give it a 7 out of 10. Arn Anderson didn't like it. Cody is possibly teasing a heel turn here. I have no idea. But let's take a look at the other matches, shall we? I saw the Lucha Brothers taking on FTR. I thought to myself, this has to be match of the night right here. This is automatic. You got two contrasting styles. You have the super quick Ray Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. and the Lucha Brothers. They're one among the fastest tag teams in the planet, bar none. Ray Phoenix, Pentagon Jr., definitely 2 of the fastest professional wrestlers I probably have ever seen wrestle in a wrestling ring. Whether they were in AAA or whether they were in Consejo Mundial or whether they were in Impact Wrestling or whatever promotion they were. PCW Ultra for that matter. The local promotion in Southern California. But anyway, no matter what promotion they were at, they produced kick-ass matches. In the meantime, FTR, rugged, tough individuals. They look like there was nobody you fuck with. And they'll wrestle you down on the mat. They'll suplex the shit out of every asshole opponent they could find. And they'll beat the shit out of them. They'll give them they'll drop arm drops. They'll drop leg drops. They'll fucking tear you down to the mat. Rub your face all over the mat. They're just rugged, tough individuals. They do remind me of the Brainbusters in a way. Like a new version of the Brainbusters. You know, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. But anyway, I love this match. Yes, I give this match an 8 out of 10. And I'm going to tell you why. There was these moments that the Lucha Brothers were gaining some momentum going. Then they had some amazing moves, quick strikes. It was just beautifully done. And then there was a moment in the match where Pentagon teased the tope suicida, but then Cash Wheeler ended up pushing him on the outside and did a tope suicida and then countered into a DDT while he was at it. That was one of the sickest maneuvers I have seen in the night. Well, it was until the next match, but I'll explain that momentarily. But that tope that countered into a DDT was a sick outside the ring maneuver. It's very high risk, but it was dangerously done. It had to be perfectly executed. And what did I see? A perfectly executed tope with a DDT counter to go with it. High risk. I mean, it looked rather quick, but it looked rather rough. I mean, you had to time it just right. Otherwise, you'd probably break the guy's neck. And you probably potato him with his fucking face on the floor, and you probably could fucking start feeling numb on his legs. And then you wonder why some of his nerves are fucked up. But anyway, it was beautifully executed. It was very well done. It looked beautiful. Then Ray Phoenix took a little bit towards the end of the match. Ray Phoenix took right after the tope into the DDT. Ray Phoenix went off the top rope and took a dive off the top rope, landing on Dax. And that was a spectacular splash to move because he got major air and he must have flew at least 12, 13 feet. That was a sick dive. I mean, seriously, it couldn't have executed that shit a lot better than the way he did. So that was beautifully done. And I like what happened. I like what I saw. So for that reason, this match gets an 8 out of 10. The way this match ended, however, this happened when Dax and Ray Phoenix were fighting each other back in the ring. And then all of a sudden, when Dax tried to grab Ray's face, he grabbed his fucking mask and his mask came off. And Ray immediately covered his face. Dax grabbed him by the pin to cover 1, 2, 3. So FTR beats the Lucha Brothers. They ended up getting their redemption from last week when they fought along with the when FTR and the Young Bucks fought the Lucha Brothers along with Butcher and Blade. In the meantime, in the background, right there, the stolen truck that the Lucha Brothers fucking stole along with Butcher and Blade. Butcher and Blade were actually seen in the background while FTR was celebrating. While that happened, I think they got the keys back and they beat up the Butcher and the Blade. Once that happened, the Young Bucks walk into the ring, and then here comes Kenny Omega from the back in the entrance. And Kenny Omega has this case, and I'm presuming it's a case of beer. So I guess he felt disrespected by giving him milk or whatever the fuck it was. I forgot what it was. It was like 2 weeks ago. Anyway. So I guess they were just making up for it and about the shit that happened last week. And I guess they got two I guess they got 2 beers. They gave one to Dax. They gave one to Cash Wheeler, and Kenny started doing a toast, and they ended up throwing the fucking beer on Kenny Omega's head. All right, so that was a little bit of a payback thing that they were doing. So okay, I think I see where this is going here. They might eventually turn on each other. That shit's gonna explode. I mean, who knows? We'll have to look at when we go all the way to AEW All Out on that one. Anyway, so that match gets an 8 out of 10. I thought that was match of the night until I saw the very next match, but I'll talk to that in a minute. After that, here comes Jericho. Jericho's coming out and cuts a promo about the TV demographics, as apparently the last 3 weeks ratings have been a big factor. So he teases the fact that he should get a rematch with Orange Cassidy, starts talking shit, and then he said, nope, they ain't getting no fucking match. Then Orange Cassidy appears in the lower section of the stands, tells him to get the hell out of my arena, you piece of shit. And then Orange gets his hand up, and then thumbs down, and Jericho still keeps talking a lot of trash. And then all of a sudden, orange juice just spews all over the inner circle. And that ended up pissing Jericho off. And then he's like, this suit cost $7,000. Sucks to be you. But anyway, so that segment just happened. Spewing orange juice all over the inner circle. So that was fucking funny. Santana probably fucking fell down and got the worst of it. And it was fucking splittering around like a fish out of water. Anyway, so we go back and we cut to commercial break. After we come back, Jericho starts joining commentary. By the way, while this is all going on, Tony Schiavone had a health scare yesterday, barely, and he did not join in for commentary because they thought he was getting tested for coronavirus, for COVID-19. The good news out of the whole thing is he tested negative, so he has been able to rest up for the week, and he'll come back next week in next week's episode of Dynamite. So anyway, with all that said, so Jericho joins the commentary all pissed off and joins Jim Ross and Excalibur, saying he's all sticky. And we get commentary for the Elite versus Jurassic Express on a 3-on-3 match. And like I said, I thought FTR and Lucha Brothers was going to be the main breadwinner of this show, but boy was I wrong. So what happened was the Elite and Jurassic Express on a 3-on-3 match. Jungle Boy and Nick Jackson started the match off. And they started nicely. You know, they just got a few basic maneuvers, collar elbow, tie up, takedown, and all that shit. They were doing some good moves. And they started off good. Then they tagged in, and then Marco Stunt comes in, and then Kenny Omega starts getting tagged in. Marco is taking advantage of his size by bouncing around the ropes left and right. He was going jumping off the low rope, then into the middle rope, and then he ended up trying to do a head scissors takedown, almost a Frankensteiner-like maneuver, but he ended up turning into a head scissors. So then Matt Jackson and Luchasaurus started tagging in, and Luchasaurus just overpowers Matt Jackson. He just straight out overpowers him. He starts punching him and kicking him around. Jungle Boy then takes it outside, and Jungle Boy was taken out, and when they were taking it outside, Marco Stunt out of nowhere comes in and does a Hurricanrana right on, and does a Hurricanrana, and they start fighting outside. It was crazy. They get it done. They're fighting good. Everyone started fighting outside. Kenny Omega does this over the top rope dive, knocking everyone down, which was nicely done. Then after that, Nick does a buckle bomb, and then a cannonball dive onto Jungle Boy, which it was very risky to do the buckle bomb, because you know how a lot of wrestlers have gotten hurt with that certain maneuver. It was nicely done. Jungle Boy sold it good. Kenny started coming in and did a fireman's carry, and then a splash on Jungle Boy. This is all during picture-in-picture, by the way. It's kind of hard to see, but I took a look at it carefully. And yes, it was a fireman's carry and then a splash onto Jungle Boy on the top rope. So they did it nicely done. And this is during the picture-in-picture. So they're back from picture to picture. They fight outside. Jungle Boy does a sick DDT from the ropes and then tags in Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus then gives his opponents knife-edge chops on all three of Matt, Nick, and Kenny Omega. Then they started kicking every single member of the Elite right in the face, giving them super kicks, and he's pretty flexible for a guy that's almost 7 feet tall. Kenny and then Luchasaurus then start scrapping and punching and kicking each other. They gave him some stiff punch and kicks to each other. Then Kenny delivers a Snapdragon suplex, and then Jurassic Express picks up Marco, and then a head scissors right on Luchasaurus. A head scissors by Luchasaurus. Nick Jackson then fights off Marco, and then Jungle Boy. Then he bounces off with a head scissors, and then a 450 from Marco. And then Matt Jackson started holding Jungle Boy up, and then Marco jumps off of Jungle Boy, gets Matt, and then grabs Matt, and then does a Canadian Destroyer off of Jungle Boy's back. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, wow, what a spot that was. That was sick. I have never, ever seen anything like that before. I mean, I've seen that shit where Ray Phoenix picked up, I don't know if that was Blade or Butcher or it was Ray Phoenix. It was one of the three from last week's Fyter Fest show from night number 2. But anyway, this was a Canadian Destroyer and grabs Matt Jackson, pulls off a Canadian Destroyer right off of Jungle Boy's back. What a fucking spot that was. That was also extremely dangerous, but but I will give bonus points because that was a very high risk maneuver. And if that was botched, it could have been very badly. But luckily, it was executed perfectly. It was spot on. Spot on a spot. How do you like that terminology? But anyway, that was epic. And back in the ring, Kenny Omega and Marco Stunt ended up going back into the ring, and Kenny Omega started fighting back, and then Kenny Omega gave a one-winged angel to Marco, and then he pinned him 1, 2, 3, and the Elite wins. So the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega grab a victory. Now, that was an 8.5. I never thought I would say that, but FTR and Lucha Brothers having a match that's second best from the show? Who would have thought? But that's how I felt about the whole thing. I thought to myself, that was an 8.5 because there was a lot more physicality. I mean, there was physicality in Lucha Brothers FTR as well. Do not get me wrong. That is no way of discouraging their skills. But the Elite and the Jurassic Express, they impressed the fuck out of me in this one. So 8.5. I mean, I hate to predict. I hate to call it this one a match of the night because no one should be runner-up in this type of competition, especially who's trying to pull off the best match, not only in your promotion or in your event, but also in the events of professional wrestling altogether. So anyway, after the match, Kenny Omega kept punching Marco Stunt after the match, but then the Young Bucks separate him. And I guess it was all in frustration, but that looked like that would be some sort of heel type shit. So, that'd be crazy. That'd be fucking crazy. I guess he's trying to pull off some Bullet Club maneuvers there. I don't know what's up with that, but is it teasing a fucking heel turn or some shit? Who the fuck knows? But in the meantime, 8.5 for Jurassic Express and the Elite. That was a great 3-on-3 match. Great. Just great. But 8.5. Anyway, so in that perspective, cooler heads prevail. And then we head into an Alex Marvez interview. The Alex Marvez interview is with AEW Women's Champion Hikaru Shida. And she was responding to Nyla Rose's challenge. And this is something that got my eye and it got my ear. Your women's champion, Hikaru Shida, who in my opinion, she has done, more and more I see her, the better she has become. Skill-wise, gimmick-wise, and personality-wise. Personally, I think the more I seem to see her wrestle, the better she has become. But even she admits that there's not enough women in the division. And I thought to myself, that got my attention big time, because I thought to myself, well, is it because half of your roster is either quarantined or injured, and then the other half of your women's division is stuck in Japan somewhere? When was the last time we seen Riho? I mean, it's been like, we haven't seen Riho since May. And what happened to Yuka Sakazaki? Well, it's Cup and Bae Priestley. Well, obviously they have travel issues. Yuka is stuck in Japan, and she's been stuck over there. As a matter of fact, she's supposed to be wrestling for Stardom in some sort of match pretty soon. Riho's doing the same thing. In the meantime, Bae Priestley, I don't know if she's stuck in Australia or she's stuck in New Zealand. I'm not really sure, but I think they're having some travel restrictions, which makes it a hell of a lot more difficult. Yeah, and then I think to myself, what about Abaddon? She makes an appearance against Anna Jay, and one episode of AEW Dynamite. Abaddon made an appearance once versus Anna Jay. She beats Anna Jay. Her gimmick is scary crazy. Zombified woman with blood in her face, and she looked like someone that creeped out of she looked like a walker that creeped out of The Walking Dead. What a crazy fucking gimmick. And here's the thing. I already knew who she was. She appeared on AEW Dark. And then before that, she wrestled in Colorado in the Indies. So I heard of her. I don't know why they don't use her that often, but, there must be some traveling issues or something. I have no idea. But I think in my personal perspective, I think they should use her a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, what's up with that? I mean, and by the way, nobody heard before the AEW Dark match. Abaddon only had about 3,500 followers. By the time she appeared against Anna Jay and beat Anna Jay in her match, her followers almost tripled. But anyway, the next match we get, it's Kenzie Page and MJ Jenkins, fresh out of her fucking firing from NXT because of Vince. So they take on in a 2-on-2 matchup between Brandy Rhodes and Allie. Brandy actually looks a little fast in the ring. Actually delivers a nice super kick. Then a neck breaker she delivers to Kenzie Page. MJ Jenkins gets tagged in, and then here comes Allie. Allie delivers an elbow smash, and then Brandy tries her best to keep Kenzie Page out. Allie and Brandy ended up winning the match after she delivered an elbow smash, and that was a match that I believe that should have been in AEW Dark, not in Fight for the Fallen. AEW Dark. So what's up with that bullshit anyway? But whatever. I mean, it's a squash match, gets no rating. It lasted less than 3 minutes, so there's not much I could say about that. Just this match was clearly done to make Brandy Rhodes and Allie look good. So then Nyla Rose teases a big announcement saying that, because I'm actually curious, personally, I'm curious to see about this shit. So then she mentions that she will not announce who it is and let her show up to see if she could get a reaction. I'm gonna let action speak louder than words, so to say. That type of situational thing. So she presents her without mentioning her name. Here comes Vicky Guerrero. So Vicky Guerrero is the manager of Nyla Rose. So this was a surprise in a way. And she warns the women's locker room. So this was a bit of a reveal. To my opinion, Vicky's entrance music sounds hilarious. But hey, I'm not complaining. It's a compliment. When I think it's hilarious, I'm not saying that like, it's hilarious. It's a bullshit clown show. No, it's funny because the way the whoever produced the song and the way they remixed it, the way they fucking remixed it, it is so fucking funny. But I'm not complaining. It's a compliment. I wonder who did that because they were pretty creative in a funny way. Now, so finally we're up to the main event. Brian Cage finally against Jon Moxley for the AEW Championship. Finally, Jon Moxley, if you know the story, his wife got COVID-19 and she had to rest, and Jon Moxley had to self-quarantine to make sure that he didn't have it. And thankfully, he didn't. So, Taz was on the mic before he came out saying Moxley is just saying propaganda because he did cut a promo earlier before, saying that you have to fight and you know the situation at home, blah, blah, blah. So Taz is on the mic saying Moxley is saying some propaganda bullshit while Moxley is quarantining with his wifey. So Cage is going to kick some serious ass tonight. And then finally here comes Moxley wearing a Danny Havoc shirt, and that was a nice little tribute there to Danny Havoc. Danny Havoc passed away back on May 31st. He was a hardcore wrestler. It was legendary, wrestled in CZW. But anyway, we tragically lost him back in May 31st. Anyway, there was a nice little tribute from him. So anyway, as soon as he enters the ring, he starts attacking Cage. But Cage has the advantage early in the match. Cage just overpowers him with a scoop slam and then sends him to the corner. Moxley gets in some maneuvers, knocks Cage out, and then starts attacking Cage on his shoulder. So basically, he's trying to find a fucking weak point for Brian Cage, which obviously is stating about his just recently repaired tricep muscles and his shoulder surgery that he recently had 5 months ago. So there was apparent weakness, and he tried to separate his shoulder again. So Cage tries to overpower him, takes advantage early, and scoop slamming him, sending him to the corner. And once he knocks Cage, and once Moxley gets in some maneuvers, he knocks Cage out and starts attacking Cage's shoulder. And when he was doing that, there was a nice running kick by Moxley. Brian Cage then pucks up and slams Moxley. When they go out, then they go outside of the ring. And then Cage officially has some momentum going. Moxley then does a tope suicida. Then it's countered, and then he sends outside near ringside. They start fighting. They start brawling. And then Moxley gets Cage's arm and then ties it up near the little barricade on the side. Then he grabs another ringside barricade and then attempts to slam Cage onto the barricade. But then Brian Cage just reverses and gets him to put a pump out, a slam straight onto Moxley onto the barricade, and that looked like it hurt. Those steel bars and them trying to bend, that hurts even more. So that's probably painful shit. We go to picture-to-picture, and they go back into the ring. Cage starts getting momentum and then starts punching Moxley down. And there wasn't really much that they were doing during the picture-to-picture. So we come back from the picture-to-picture commercial break, and there's a chair set outside the ring. Moxley then fights Cage, but then Cage counters into a slam onto the chair for Moxley as he receives the slam onto the chair. Another spot that looked like it hurt. Cage once again got momentum going. Then Moxley finally put some good offense. Brian Cage looks like he grabbed his right knee. So hopefully that doesn't indicate an injury here, because I don't know if he's just selling it. I don't know if he's selling that injury or he's legitimately hurt. He couldn't really quite tell right here. After that, Moxley then delivers a paradigm shift, but gets a near fall out of the whole thing. Both of them are on the top rope. Moxley then delivers a superplex off the top. Then then all of a sudden try to get a pin. Nope, didn't work. Try to fight back. Then Brian powers his way out. Brian Cage does. Then gets a power bomb by Cage on the middle rope, and a middle rope suplex on Moxley. Brian Cage then attempts a drill claw, but then gets countered into a cross arm breaker on Cage. And then Moxley started wrenching Cage's fingers, which trying to make his hand and his arms even weaker than they already are. And then once he started wrenching his fingers, Cage tried to fight back, dragging himself to the ropes and tried to grab the ropes. He couldn't grab it. And Moxley was flipping Taz off as he was holding him off with an arm breaker and started wrenching his arm and his shoulder. Then Moxley flips Taz, give him the fucking bird. And then Taz throws in the towel, and then Moxley wins. Afterwards, Brian Cage got the suplex on Moxley as he was pissed off. Then he grabbed the FTF belt, started punching him. He hits him with the FTW belt. Then he fucking punched him, and then the lights suddenly go black. And then when the lights went back on, it was Darby Allin. And then Allin pops off the top rope and hits Brian Cage with his skateboard. So after he hit him with the skateboard, Brian Cage then takes off, starts getting pissed, and then wants to go after Darby Allin. Then he tries to come closer and closer to the ring, and then here comes some people trying to restrain Brian Cage from entering the ring. Jon Moxley and Darby Allin are triumphant as Brian Cage is pissed off and being held by officials left and right as they send him to the locker room, and that's how we end the show. So that match gets a 7 out of 10. I thought it showed some decent physicality. I really enjoyed the pace that they were doing. I like what they were doing here. But it was not match of the night, but I thought it was good. So let's recap real quick. Cody versus Sonny Kiss gets a 7 out of 10. This was Sonny Kiss's best match. Cody did really good. I don't know why Arn Anderson was pissed off about the match, but I thought they did a good job. FTR against Lucha Brothers, that was an 8 out of 10. I thought that was going to be match of the night, but I was wrong. But it was still very, very good. Recommend watching it. Trust me. Jurassic Express versus the Elite, the 3-on-3 tag match, that was the one that took the cake. 8.5 out of 10. That was a match of the night. Beautifully executed. That risky Canadian Destroyer off Jungle Boy's back was just something I have never seen before. Ali and Brandy Rhodes jobber match, gets no rating, obviously. It looked like a match that should have been an end on AEW Dark. Nyla Rose's new manager is Vicky Guerrero. That gives some kudos. And then Jon Moxley retains his AEW World title against Brian Cage, finally. And Darby Allin makes his return. That gets a 7 out of 10. So the whole show gets 7.5. I really enjoyed it. So AEW Fight for the Fallen. This was a good show. And if you get a chance to catch it on replay on TNT, I definitely recommend watching it. You're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to have a lot of fun, especially the Jungle Boy Elite match, the 3-on-3 That's definitely worth watching. So kudos, AEW Fight for the Fallen 2020. Okay, now that we did Fight for the Fallen, let's address the elephant in the room. I mean, let's look at it this way. I'm still pissed off regarding about the whole situation from Smackdown on last Friday. I know today's Thursday, and by the time the shit gets uploaded, it'll probably be Friday. So whatever the case may be, it's going to be another episode of Smackdown. But this is what pissed me off. I watched last week, and I watched it live. That was a waste of 2 hours of my life that I'll never get back because of stupid, silly, bullshit writing by stupid, silly, bullshit bookers that just don't know how to fucking book up wrestling promotion. It's embarrassing that me and a lot of casual wrestling viewers that have to watch and put up with this pathetic bullshit. I don't see NXT doing that. I definitely don't see AEW doing that. Although they have a bit of goofy, but it's not like to a point where it's really redundant. Let's just say this. This is just pure fucking stupidity on their part, and I blame it on Vince McMahon because he likes this shit. So, Miz and Morrison. This is how SmackDown starts. It's a daredevil who battles his demons every day with the Miz TV segment. And emphasis on the word Blaze. Jeff Hardy is introduced after one more bad joke from Morrison. Oh, I got no fucking faith. Just reviewing this shit just gets me pissed off. Jeff comes out without the paint, and Miz wants to apologize for Morrison. Morrison says he was just excited. Jeff has a clip. Jeff says no, he does not. Miz and Morrison end up arguing over who has the clip. Clip is rolled. It's a video package of Jeff and Sheamus's feud. Miz and Morrison continues to say the word clip 1,000. Jesus Christ, this is really bad. Jeff promises to break something if they don't. Miz says his daughter's favorite superstar is Jeff. She doesn't know about the darkness though, and they then ask if Jeff is okay. Jeff says he's been to hell and back, and he's been to a dark place that they can't imagine it'll take a lot more than taunts for Sheamus, of course. The loss at Backlash bothers Jeff. He's got to do everything in his power to destroy Sheamus. Jeff said they're a beacon of light for those who struggle, blah, 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 blah. Fuck. Miz offers a match against Sheamus, and he should do it in a bar fight. Morrison points out the physical and metaphorical enemy both at the same time. Jeff thinks, trust me, this is stupid. So basically what's happening is they're teasing a bar fight match, which means it's going to be cinematic, between Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. Wow. This is really insulting my intelligence. And we haven't even gotten the first match. So anyway, the first match is announced. Jeff Hardy versus The Miz. And that right there just tells me, what the fuck is this? 2008? PG rating at its finest, 2008 bullshit? Jeff Hardy versus The Miz? How many times have we seen this fucking match before? Or is this the first time? But this doesn't sound appealing. Okay, let's watch the match. Now I'm done complaining. So Jeff gets an arm drag, sends Miz to the ground. He gets back up, then Jeff grabs him with a side headlock takedown. I mean, I'm not interested in this fucking match already. It's the same shit that they've seen. They pull the same maneuvers. Jeff Hardy's quick, no doubt. Even with all his injuries and all his misfortune and all his struggles, that's fine. But I'm not interested in this fucking match. Now, if this was 10 years ago, then I might be. Or this is 12 years ago. I might be. But no, I'm not. I know what Miz is capable of. He ain't capable of shit. He's a fucking dingus. Now, look, usually when I criticize a wrestler, I don't criticize them because of their as an individual. You know, I don't. A lot of them want to be great professional wrestlers. A lot of them want to be great. Now, look, in Miz's case, he was a reality TV dope, and he just wanted to be a professional wrestler just so he could say he's been on front of a fucking camera, in front of a fucking crowd, just to say he's a fucking athlete, just to say he fucking done something. Now, granted, yes, he polished his skills. Yes, he's getting better. So I give him credit to that. But he's still a fucking doofus. He's a dork. Fuck him. He's a reality TV show twat that just doesn't know any better. Doesn't know how. Does he even actually knows how the wrestling business works? I mean, is he a fan? If he's a fan, then that's fine. You know, that's okay. But I just think he's a fucking dingus. He's more of an entertainer. But wrestling shouldn't really be about just entertainment. Yes, there's gimmicks and shit. But you could fucking be more creative than just being, oh, I'm an entertainer. Okay, what's your character? I'm an entertainer. We get that, but what is your character? Your personality, so to say. I'm an entertainer. What the fuck? What kind of fucking personality? You're a douchebag. But anyway. So it's a back and forth. Morrison tries to intervene in the match and try to pull Jeff's leg. The referee, while the Miz distracts the referee, Miz is out of the ring, sends Jeff to the table, then to the barricade. Miz sends Jeff onto the ring and sends him face first into the apron. Miz does a guillotine, and then guillotines Jeff with the bottom rope. This ain't that fun. The way this match ended was that Jeff went for a twist of fate. Miz drops, goes for a skull-crushing finale. Jeff then escapes. Then Sheamus is on screen. He tries to distract. Jeff turns to Miz, stacks him up, and pins him 1, 2, 3. This fucking match lasted 13 minutes. This match felt like it was 25 minutes. This match was a 4.5 out of 10. And for you to make and for the Miz and Jeff Hardy, nothing against Jeff, but for the other one to make a 13-minute match feel like a 25-minute match is an insult to my intelligence. What a fucking dope. Reality TV show twat. Fuck them. 4.5 out of 10. So we're already off to a bad start in this show. And meanwhile, there's some backstage hijinks going on between Cesaro and Shinsuke. They are upset about some bullshit, about someone would call them winning tonight an upset. Really? Is that what we've become on the storyline here? It sounds pathetic. Cesaro's sick of the New Day. I'm like, well, what other tag teams are there in the tag team division on SmackDown? There's like 3 or 4 fucking teams. We already know why. We already forgotten about the Forgotten Sons, and then we've forgotten about them because we forgot about them because of the BLM, Black Lives Matter movement. Let's get that shit out of water. Keep this shit real. So anyway, we changed the segments, and here comes Sasha. As Bayley is making her entrance, Nikki Cross then attacks her from behind, which was okay. That was nice. She hops onto Bayley's back as we go to commercial break. Okay, well, hold on. This is a Fox Network thing, and they do the same shit on the USA Network. Why do they fucking go to commercial break when the shit or the match was getting good? What the fuck is wrong with you producers? Fucking idiots. I don't like the Fox Network executives. Fuck them for all I care. Fuck them if they even exist. Yeah, you could tell them I fucking said that. That's how much I don't like them. So anyway. Oh shit. Oh yeah, and by the way, we are informed that tonight we'll have a karaoke challenge of some sort, and Dana Brooke is dancing horribly backstage. Yes, this will do wonders for the women's division on Smackdown. The Raw women's roster is so much better. Is so much better than the SmackDown. Let's be real, with the exception of Sasha Banks and Bayley, and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. What about the rest of the division? They ain't shit, are they? Or at least they treat them that way. I have hopes for Naomi. And Dana Brooke is seeing improvements. I see Lacey Evans. She's doing a great job as a face. And then Tamina. Then there's Tamina. I mean, sorry. I hate to criticize her, but that's how I feel about her. Anyway, so match number 2. Sasha Banks, Bayley versus Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. Now, let me remind everybody here that's listening to this podcast. This, in my perspective, is match of the night. This is match of the night. And I'll explain that in a little bit. The way this match starts, Nikki tries to attack Sasha, but then Sasha gets to the ropes, and then she drops Nikki to the mat, and then gets a 1 count pin. And there's a couple of 1 counts. Okay, it's getting a bit redundant, but I see where they're trying to go here. Someone's trying to get momentum, but there hasn't been... The pendulum has not swung either side, so it's been stuck in the middle. Bayley gets tagged in, and then tries to get another 1 count cover. Then Nikki kicks out. Then Bayley sends Nikki to the corner where Sasha's at. She tags in Sasha. Then they start kicking Nikki. Sasha then mocks Alexa, tags in Bayley once again. So they're doing like some quick tags. Nikki escapes the ring, pulls Bayley in between the apron, right towards it, like about a minute later. So then she starts beating her back for a little bit. Nikki sends Bayley back into the ring and then gets a quick near fall. So Nikki tags in Alexa. Alexa then slaps the belly of Bayley. Oh, God, now we're belly slapping. Well, okay, but that's not the point. A high knee from Bayley knocks down Alexa. Then Bayley lifts into the corner and drops her into the corner. It's like, okay, not bad. She tags Sasha. Sasha misses a slap. Alexa then hits a drop toe hold, which looked good. Tag to Nikki, who hits a drop kick. She swings the arm and drops Sasha with it. And they keep tagging to each other back and forth. Once Alexa sends Bayley off the apron, Sasha misses with a right, holds onto the ropes. Bayley pulls her to the outside. Sasha and Bayley yell at Michael Cole and Graves. They start yelling towards the fucking commentary booth. And then Nikki grabs the title. She fucks around with it. I don't know what the fuck she was doing. Then she hopped to the table and then dives off of a crossbody, which was nicely done. It was a nice little spot. Nikki holds the SmackDown title up in the air because apparently she's going to fight. Nikki Cross is going to fight Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship at Extreme Rules, which I will review this coming weekend. So hopefully by Monday we'll have that episode out. Commercial break. We're back. Bayley is now legal with Alexa. Thinks it's Sasha, but why is there confusion? I have no idea why. If we go a little bit towards the end of the match, Bayley gets a tag, and then tornado DDT onto Sasha Banks by Nikki. Nikki knows how to do a tornado DDT. I like when she does that shit. Bayley gets in and gets splashed into the corner. Nikki goes for a DDT, but then hits a neck breaker instead, gets a near fall. Sasha is there to break it up. Then Alexa then pulls Banks out of the ring. Then she sends Alexa into the barricade. Nikki then slides through the ropes for a drop kick, and then Bayley was there to roll her right back in with a pin. So apparently this was not done to make Nikki look weak, but at the same time, Bayley just outsmarted Nikki in this point. So she's got momentum going into her Extreme Rules match. I'm going to say, and I'll go on through a limb, I'll be surprised if she wins this, if Nikki Cross wins the title from her. That'll surprise me. The last stretch of moves really helped the match. Otherwise, this was a 6 out of 10 match. And as above average matchup that this is, yes, I'm going to say it once more time. This is your match of the night, folks. Wrestling fans all over the world, stuck at home. They have nothing else to do. So without losing hope, they figure they watch a little bit of wrestling in their lives. And then they watch this match and it's a 6 out of 10. And damn it, it was match of the night. This, as disappointing of a statement that is, as disappointing as that is, it's embarrassing to see how this shit is. So we get a flashback of Bray and Braun Strowman, and why are we getting this shit? It's a little thing. It's a fucking Firefly Funhouse thing, and we get to watch a rerun of the Money in the Bank match. And I'm like, why are we watching this shit? Are you fucking kidding? So you got no content to produce? You're going to show a pay-per-view match from 2 months ago, back at Money in the Bank, before all this shit started. You're going to tell me that you got nothing else to produce? So you're going to show a rerun? Now look, if everybody was quarantined and the whole production was shut down because of the positive coronavirus cases, which I've heard 20 or 30 people, thank you very fucking much. No thanks to you, Vince McMahon. No thanks to you, Kevin Dunn. And no thanks to you, Bruce Pritchard. You twat. Anyway, I'm not going to rate that because that has nothing to do with Smackdown. I'm not going to fucking even critique it. I've critiqued it before. I critiqued it 2 months ago. I do not need to critique it again. You want to know my true opinion? If you want me to spell it out, let me just spell it out for you. It sucks. Bottom line. There. I said it. Okay. So, New Day is backstage. Blah, 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 blah. Who gives a fuck? So, I guess they're getting ready for their match that's gonna main event between Shinsuke and Cesaro. They're asked if Shin and Nat are gonna be underestimated, blah blah blah. They're telling the same story for the past 6 years. I feel like they fought each other 5 fucking times already. Kofi brings up accolades of Cesaro and Nakamura. Okay, yeah, they're complimenting them. Okay, whatever. Gives a shit. Fuck. Give us something a little different. Tell them it's personal. Tell them we're going to fuck them up. Tell them that we're... So, oh, boy. Big E does a preach. I don't give a fuck. You think it's going to get bad? You think it couldn't get worse than that, right? Nope. It got worse. Here we are. Jey Uso is hosting the karaoke showdown. Why is this fucking happening? Why? So here's Lacey Evans. Here's Dana Brooke. Here's Tamina. And here's Naomi. Why? The rules, I guess let's explain this abortion, shall we? The rules are simple. Each contestant will get 45 seconds to sing their favorite WWE theme song. The audience will vote for the winner. The first singer is apparently Jey Uso because he tries to cut... Yeah, I'm yawning. But do you blame me? This fucking show sucks. And anyway, so Jey Uso tries to cut a quick rhyme. So he's trying to show off here. So Lacey will be singing with my baby tonight, Cole claims this will be really good. No, it's not, Michael Cole. It's not gonna fucking be good, Michael Cole. It's gonna fucking suck, Michael Cole. Get it through your thick fucking head. Anyway, I know he's a journalist, but give me a fucking break. You can't commentate, you can't predict it's gonna be good. If two kangaroos were fucking on a sidewalk, he'd think it'll be good. That's what he thinks. But anyway, then Dana Brooke is up next to sing the Honky Tonk Man song. Oh my God. Tamina then sings Triple H's song. She is cut off short like Dana. Good God. Next is Naomi, and she is singing American Dream, the Dusty Rhodes theme song. Someone somewhere will say this is a dig to Cody. I know it. Naomi somehow thinks that she thinks she's Sapphire. Boy, I tell you, she's fucking spinning in her fucking grave like a pinwheel. Anyway, Naomi wins this, and according to the crowd, quote unquote, I use that term loosely because there's barely a fucking crowd, Jey Uso and Naomi says they miss Dusty and they miss him dearly. Lacey is upset. She shoves Naomi down on her ass. Naomi gets in her face and Jey holds her back. Naomi removes the hoops and shoes and about to go down. So they're about to start getting into a match. They go to commercial break. Okay. So here's the match. Match number 3. Naomi versus Lacey Evans. Lacey is atop Naomi, beating her down. And Lacey's in a dress. She sends Naomi into the middle buckle, face first, then sends her into the bottom buckle. Dana and Tamina are at ringside for no fucking reason whatsoever. A drop toe hold from Lacey. She then puts her dress over her face of Naomi. Okay. Whatever. That's not awkward much. Anyway, Naomi with a kick to the face. Naomi is up. They end up on the outside of the ring. They run into Tamina and Dana Brooke, and we get a disqualification finish in less than 2 minutes. This was rotten. This was the shits. I didn't give a fuck about that. It sucked, and I almost turned my goddamn TV off because I was so insulted for the fact that not only you had some shitty competition to showcase your women's division on Smackdown with some shit contest and then turn into a shit match that was an insult to my intelligence. I almost changed the fucking channel. It was that bad. 0 karaoke contest with the women's division. 0 out of 10. Naomi versus Lacey Evans. 0 out of 10. This was embarrassing. This was insulting. I was fucking pissed, and that's a big giant fuck you to Vince McMahon. And you too, Kevin Dunn, for getting a hard-on for this bullshit. Get your nipples hard over for a karaoke contest with 4 women wrestlers who could barely sing. And I got nothing wrong with them. If they could sing, they could sing. I don't care. But this is about wrestling. This is not American Idol, you fuckwit. Stupid cock-sucking motherfucker. I'm fucking pissed. Yeah, now I'm pissed. I'm pissed off. Because this is fucking dumb. It's an insult. It's an insult to my intelligence. Fuck whoever. Fuck anybody that had anything to do with fucking producing this match or this fucking stupid little contest in the SmackDown Women's Division. Because you probably... This is the reason why I say this show is the C brand. It's not the A brand. It's not the B brand. It's the C brand. And apparently the C stands for cunt. Fuck, man. I can't believe what I'm watching. I can't believe what they fucking did. You should be a fucking shame to yourself. You and your mother, your parents. Fuck. I would not want to I would be embarrassed if I had to associate with 3 fucking rich degenerate clowns such as these buffoons that produced and said, wow, we have a show about professional wrestling today. We have 4 women on the Smackdown women's roster that want to wrestle. What should we do with them? Let's see. Karaoke contest. That's great. Fuck you. Hope your wife's uterus explodes, fucknut. So, after that, AJ Styles is backstage with his title. I don't care. I'm too fucking mad at this point to even give a shit. I don't give a fuck what AJ Styles says. He's gonna fight Daniel Bryan. I don't give a fuck. He's gonna fight Drew Gulak. He's gonna fight Shorty G. He's gonna fight Baron Corbin. He's gonna fight. I don't know, and I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. You guys. But Matt Riddle's coming up. For how long, though? What's about his bullshit that he has going on with himself? What about his speaking out shit with his girlfriend? I mean, look at how long is he even gonna fucking be there? I don't know. I hope he stays. He's a good guy. He can wrestle good. But fuck, man. I'm worried about him. I hope that this shit is not true. Now, as far as wrestling concerns, he could fucking beat AJ Styles. He's capable. I don't care at this point. Because the karaoke segment and then that shitty impromptu match that was just boasted upon right away and just slapped on together at the very last minute. Do you really think I'm going to get excited about that? And here's another thing. Lacey Evans turning heel again. Fuck, guys, what are you guys doing? She was doing a good job fucking being a face. Why are you fucking turning her heel again? So let's recap real quick. I'm gonna be brief. Lacey Evans got promoted from NXT and got sent to Raw or SmackDown. She was set up immediately to have a feud with Becky Lynch last year. As soon as Becky won the title, her main rival was Becky Lynch and was Lacey Evans. That didn't work. It didn't work at all. That rivalry lasted about 3.5 months from Money in the Bank all the way until Extreme Rules. And that was a fun time when you had an overloaded roster and you didn't even want to fucking showcase them. Boy, that was some good times, wasn't it? Especially with that stupid fucking wildcard rule, which another idea from Vince McMahon. Thought it was a fucking good idea. Stupid fucking senile fuck. Anyway, this fucking degenerate cocksucker thought it would be a great idea to have a boring feud infused into a stupid match. Who gives a shit? So then you didn't know what to do with Lacey Evans later on in the year. And what did you do? You decided to turn her face. And you know what? She was doing a good job being face. She was trying to stand up for her daughter and all that shit. You know, with Bayley was fucking with her family and all that. What the fuck? That was a decent storyline. What was different this time? This is so fucking dumb. So now you got no plans for her. You don't know what to do with her. So you decide to turn her fucking heel? You're garbage. Your booking department is garbage. And your fucking producers are garbage. And I'd rather piss on them for the fucking fact that they're stupid and idiotic, degenerative fucking ideas. It's so egotistical. How dare you fucking destroy the reputation of the company that I used to like. I still like the WWE, and I'm not trashing WWE as a company as a whole. I don't like the fucking idiots that are running it. So, shall we move on? Let's move on. Main event time, SmackDown women... I can't get that fucking karaoke thing out of my goddamn head. Main event time. SmackDown Tag Team Championship is on the line between the champions New Day and Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. Shin and Kofi start. Knees to the side. Kofi immediately. And then Cesaro then gets tagged from Shinsuke. Then he hip tosses Kofi Kingston, only for him to come back with a drop kick. A little bit forward, because I'm really pissed off, and I really don't care. Nakamura gets tagged in once again. Nakamura has a sleeper on Kofi in the middle of the ring, and they go into commercial. And Kofi turns it into Nakamura, and then he works the arm, gets an abdominal stretch on Kofi Kingston. Kofi then elbows out of the hold, and then hits an SOS, which was nicely done, not bad. They tagged in Big E, who ended up coming in. Cesaro got a tag in too, but then gets a belly-to-belly from Big E. Another belly-to-belly, ducks in a clothesline, and then hits a third belly-to-belly to Cesaro. And Big E starts getting momentum, hits a rope for a splash. Then Cesaro comes and gets out of the way. Gets out. Big E then knocks Shinsuke Nakamura off the apron. Cesaro rolls him up for a near fall. Cesaro gets an European uppercut. And then another European uppercut. Then some elbows. And then another uppercut. Then he gets big rights and lefts. Starts punching him up and down. Tag to Kofi. He comes in. Tries to do a sneaky roll up to Cesaro. Almost like an inside cradle. Cesaro then choked up on Kofi. And then went on the top rope. The referee was distracted. Shinsuke hits a kick to Kofi's face. Cesaro with one of his own then tags to Shinsuke. Shinsuke hit a back suplex, flipping Kofi onto his face. Kofi fights out with elbows to both guys who are in the ring. Big E is in. All four of them fight each other out. And then the referee suddenly calls a disqualification. And we have a no contest. The match... The match was made so that we could get to the real match likely on Sunday. What that means simply is that this affair wasn't anything worth watching at all. So I started changing it. Now, I caught a highlight because I wanted to show my friend how bad Smackdown was. One of my wrestling buddies. I wanted to show how sucky Smackdown was this past week. And there was a moment where Cesaro powerbombed Kofi onto Big E, who was laid out onto the table. If anything was worthy of that, was that little spot, that little 45-second spot, plus the Sasha Banks, Bayley versus Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss match. Jeff Hardy versus The Miz was shit. I didn't give a fuck about that. If I'm gonna what I'm gonna recap here. Jeff Hardy, The Miz gets a 4.5 out of 10. It's not even worth mentioning because this was boring. It was a boring, basic fucking match. Number 2, Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. That gets a 6 out of 10. And sad to say, I am sad and sorry to report, that was match of the night. 6 out of 10. A match that was above average. And I got nothing against all four ladies. They did good. It's just that they were booked badly. And they were told what to do and told how to finish badly. So they were fucked over on this one. But they were not as fucked over as much of the rest of the women's division on SmackDown. That was even worse. They insulted everyone's intelligence with them. Who thought that a karaoke contest with the rest of the women's division on SmackDown and an impromptu shit match was going to make the casual, not just the professional wrestling viewer, but the casual viewer, the casual television viewer, to say, oh, they had a karaoke contest in a wrestling show. I'm going to tune in next week to see more. Said no one ever, fucknut. That was a 0. Lacey Evans versus Naomi, 0. Waste of my time, waste of breath, and a waste of... And in fact, one more match to even get my blood pumping. The Smackdown Tag Team Championship match, Cesaro versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus New Day. This match was a 2 out of 10. And the reason why is because this was basic as fuck. There was no interesting maneuvers at all in this match. It was just as basic, as boring as a match could be. I never thought I would say that a New Day match would be boring to me. I never thought I would say a Shinsuke Nakamura match would be boring to me. And I never thought I would say a Cesaro match would be boring to me. Much less a tag team championship match would be boring to me. But they pulled it off somehow. And they did make it boring. And not only that, there was no clear winner. It was a no contest. So why the fuck should I even even critique this? This was a 2 out of 10. You want my rating out of the SmackDown? This SmackDown gets a 2.5. So it was okay to show a subpar, below average match, below average pay-per-view match on your Fox network broadcast on SmackDown on a Friday night, where nobody has anything better to do but to get their minds off this global pandemic, and you give them this shit? Fuck you, Vince. Fucking degenerate, senile fuck. Take your fucking Metamucil, you fucking fossil. 2.5 out of 10. It was rotten. It was terrible. And they could go fuck themselves with a French tickler for all I care. Well, I think it's time we got some of that SmackDown frustration out. And let me tell you something about next episode. We probably might have it out on Monday because we're going to have a busy weekend. This Saturday, we're going to have my review of Impact Wrestling Slammiversary 2020. We're going to see what match of the night was the showstopper, and we're going to find out which one was the drizzling shits. Although, personally, there's a lot to anticipate on that show. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, and I hate to say it about WWE, because I like the company. I just don't like the people running it. But with that being said, WWE Horror Show at Extreme Rules. I'm just going to call it Extreme Rules. But that's this coming Sunday. And I will review that show as well. So keep an eye on the 21st episode of the Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk. We will be back on Monday, hopefully. I'll start recording on Sunday night / Monday morning, if anything at all. And I'll try to produce this episode as fast as possible. But in the meantime, keep an eye out for that. And for everything involved in this show, we'll tune in on Monday. So hopefully with that. And also, keep an eye on my Instagram feed at the Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk Instagram profile. Click on the blue link on the bio, and you could see, and you could go directly to the Spotify link and download an episode, any of the 19 or 20 other episodes of the Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk, as now available on Spotify, and coming soon, hopefully more platforms will be available. So check that out. But in the meantime, until then, this is Eric Peralta, a.k.a. the Wrestling Enthusiast, reminding you to wash your ass. Bye-bye, everybody.